Seeing Charlie's sincere invitation, Aoshui nodded and happily followed Charlie into the villa. After entering the house, Charlie invited Aoshui to sit on the sofa in the living room, then took out the tea set and made a pot of tea for her. Aoshui carefully held Charlie's tea and said, "By the way, Master Charlie, I went to see Sister Warnia 2 days ago." "Oh?" Charlie asked curiously. "Did you go to her company or to her house?" "Go to her house." Aoshui said, "I am worried that Sister Warnia will be in a bad mood after experiencing so many things, so I went to see her at her house." Charlie nodded, remembering that since the Song family's crisis was resolved and Warnia regained her position as the heir of the Song family, he hadn't had time to see her again, so she asked Aoshui, "How is Warnia's current state?" Aoshui tilted her head and said, "Sister Warnia is in good condition." As she said, she remembered something and hurriedly said, "By the way, Master Charlie, Sister Warnia has an Akita dog at home. It is very pure and cute. I think there is no good Akita in Oru's Hill. She say your friend gave her?" "Yes," Charlie said with a smile. "When I was in Japan a few days ago, I took her to live with a Japanese friend. The Japanese friend raised a lot of Akita dogs. Seeing Warnia liked it, gave her one. Only one." Aoshui's eyes were full of envy, and she said, "Sister Warnia's Akita is called Xiaoyu. It's a girl. I've already told her that when Xiaoyu grows up, she will give birth to a litter of puppies." "Give me one." Charlie smiled and said, "Then you have to wait at least a year." Aoshui said, "It's okay, 1 year will pass soon." Then, she asked Charlie again, "By the way, Master Charlie, do you have time in the next few days?" Charlie asked curiously. "What's the matter?" Aoshui said with some embarrassment, "That's it? Since the last time I won Ito Nanako and won the championship, I have been practicing hard at home, but I always feel that my progress is slow. A senior coach teaches hand by hand, so if you have time, I would like to invite you to come to my house and give me some guidance by the way." "I don't know, Master Charlie, it's not convenient for you." Charlie thought for a while and said with a smile, "This is a trivial matter, so let's do it. After I finish the medicine, I naturally invite everyone to sit and have a meal together, and give the medicine to everyone by the way. I will bother you when that happens. Dad prepares a banquet at home and invites everyone to come to your house for a small gathering. I will come there a few hours in advance and give you guidance." When Aoshui heard this, she said excitedly, "That's really great, Master Charlie. In that case, I will tell my dad when I go back, let him prepare the best banquet at home." Charlie nodded and said with a smile, "By the way, do you know who sent Sister Warnia's Akita?" Aoshui shook her head. "Sister Warnia said it was your friend, but didn't say who it was." Charlie smiled and said, "It's Ito Nanako who you won in the game." "Ah?" Aoshui exclaimed and blurted out, "Is it her?" Charlie smiled and said, "Yes, it's her." Aoshui hurriedly asked, "Master Charlie, how is Ito Nanako's injury?" "Last time, I didn't control the effectiveness of the pills you gave me very well, so I injured her by a miss, and I don't know how she is recovering." After speaking, Aoshui sighed with some guilt. "Actually, in fact, Nanako's strength has always been much stronger than me, and the champion of that competition should have been her. I am completely dependent on Master Charlie's help. Medicine has improved the strength in a short period of time. Although winning the game, it is not honorable to win." Charlie waved his hand. "Aoshui, in fact, there is nothing glamorous and disgraceful. The competition is compared to your own strength and how well everyone controls the rules. Although part of your strength is improved by the elixir, it also depends on your personal strength, and you have completely passed the doping test of the competition, which proves that you have not taken any prohibited substances in the competition, so all this is in compliance with the rules of the competition. After all," Charlie said again, "it's like the black technology that swimmers used to participate in competition's sharkskin bionic swimsuit. This kind of bionic high-tech swimsuit can greatly reduce the resistance of swimmers in the water. American swimmers including Phelps, in just 1 month, rely on the shark swimsuit to break with 14 world records. Phelps won more than 20 Olympic gold medals alone. Of course, the help of this kind of swimsuit is indispensable, but none of the rules of the game at the time explicitly prohibited this kind of swimsuit, so people can get the gold medal with peace of mind. There is nothing disgraceful." Aoshui nodded lightly and said, "I understand what you mean. Charlie smiled slightly. The game is played by the rules, so you don't need to have any psychological burden in this regard. Not only can you not have a psychological burden, you will continue to participate in such international competitions and strive for more glory for your country, Aoshui hurriedly said. Okay, Master Charlie, Aoshui will definitely go all out and win more championships in the future. With that said, Aoshui looked at the time, and said shyly, Master Charlie, you must have something else this afternoon. I won't bother you much, don't forget the good things you just said. Charlie nodded and said, Don't worry, I will contact your father after refining the medicine. Aoshui nodded, stood up and said respectfully, Master Charlie, then you stay. Aoshui will leave first. Charlie also stood up and said, I will send you off. Sending Aoshui out of the house and watching her leave, Charlie took the medicinal materials she brought back to the bedroom on the second floor of himself and Claire. The medicinal materials Aoshui sent were enough for him to refine a batch of healing pills and a batch of rejuvenating pills. The pill to heal injuries is no longer useful for him, but this kind of medicine does have a great effect on ordinary people. Warnya suffered an accident in Japan at that time, and it was the pill that saved her life. As for the rejuvenation pill, Charlie also plans to make another batch, one of which will be given to Qin Gang, and the rest can be reserved for emergencies. In one afternoon, Charlie refined ordinary healing pills and 30 rejuvenating pills each. Seeing these newly refined pills, Charlie suddenly thought of Elaine, his mother-in-law. In fact, with a small trauma like her broken leg, at most a quarter of a healing pill can make her jump alive. And in his hand, there are as many as 30. Counted down, enough to break her leg 120 times. At this moment, Charlie also hesitated whether to reward her with some medicine dregs so that she could recover earlier. But after another thought, he immediately dismissed the idea, and muttered, Forget it, she is not worthy. When Charlie was refining the pill, Elijah, who was far away in Eastcliff, called King Hawa, who was on the other side of the ocean. King Hawa is nearly 100 years old, but because of taking special pills, his body is still very healthy. He usually wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning and does a set of martial arts practices to achieve the goal of strengthening his body. After punching, he will go to his study and use 3 old coins to simply give himself a divination. Divination with 3 ancient coins is the most commonly used method of 6 lines and 8 trigrams. Unlike most masters, King Hawa's 3 ancient coins are almost all treasures of ancient coins. The biggest one is the priceless Warring States 3 Kongbu. The remaining 2 are the extremely rare Taixia Zhenxing in the world. Many people who have played with ancient coins for a lifetime may not have the opportunity to see one of them. Just as he finished a hexagram and was comprehending the hexagrams represented by the few copper coins in front of him, Elijah called. King Hawa answered the phone and smiled slightly and said, I was wondering why the hexagrams of today appear to be from old people, and the inner image seems to be separated by thousands of mountains and rivers. I didn't expect your call to come. Elijah sighed. Master King Hawa really has a brilliant plan. I admire it. King Hawa smiled and said, Elijah, you don't have to slap on the horse like this between you and me. What makes you find me so early? Elijah hurriedly said, Master King Hawa, this is the case. I have a granddaughter who has always wanted to find her savior, but after looking for him for a long time, she still found nothing, so I would like to ask you to help me and give her some hints. I don't know if it is convenient. King Hawa smiled and said, Your granddaughter knows how to pay for Entuo. If so, give me her birth date and tell me the general clues about her being saved. Let me take a look. Elijah hurriedly informed King Hawa about Ziyu's birth date and the time and passage of her and Jufei's kidnapping in Japan. King Hawa muttered to himself, The incident happened in Japan. Japan is east of China, and the east is the place of the blue dragon in terms of feng shui. With that said, King Hawa pinched and decided, then grabbed the old money on the table, closed his eyes, shook it in the palm of his hand for a moment, and then threw it out. It didn't matter if he looked at it, his brows immediately frowned, and he said, Strange. Elijah, there is a sign of looking for a dragon in the hexagram of your granddaughter. Looking for a dragon? Elijah asked in surprise. Master King Hawa, what do you mean by finding a dragon? King Hawa said sternly. looking is searching for, and the dragon is the real dragon. This hexagram shows that the person your granddaughter is looking for has a very strong life and is extremely difficult.